If you've been on a journey, don't you think it's time that you arrive at your destination? Hi, this is Dr. Anita with another Diamond Moment. The diamonds of our lives are produced through time, heat, and pressure, but it is absolutely up to us to gather the value from these experiences in order to grow in our lives. If these messages have enlightened or helped you in any way, please like, subscribe, share, and comment, because I really do want to hear from you. We're discussing and started on that last week, the topic of diamonds and gold. The things that we learn through the experiences of our lives are to be used. We're supposed to mine the good out of those things in order to grow. We're able to learn. We're able to put two and two together and come up with some concrete thinking to direct our lives. Part of this comes through the mental facility of thinking it through and working it out. But other parts of this come from listening to what is taking place within. And it's when we combine these areas or these highways of knowledge, we're able to determine a better way to facilitate those things which we desire in life. It also helps us to gain the guidance that we need when we are unsure of what direction we need to move in. I've learned this in a very personal way as I began sharing with you last week that I have been on a for real adventure. I've been traveling. I've been in places that I've never been before. I've visited areas that I've never visited before. And I ran into the everyday life challenges that would have occurred no matter where I was. So it's learning to navigate in these new environments, maybe even with a different language, with a language barrier, which is also what I have experienced. I'm moving forward to learn how to do what I've always done, but in a different way, to utilize the lessons that have come up in my life in a different way, and to learn to trust in a more deep fashion the intuitive guidance and wisdom that I'm receiving from within. It's not something that's supposed to be out of the ordinary. It is the way that we as humans were formed to function. We're supposed to be able to interact and to combine all of who we are spiritually, emotionally, and physically in order to get an understanding on where we need to go, on what we need to do, and on what's taking place within our lives that we don't have previous experience with. So when we're moving out into a place that we've not been, yes, we utilize what we've learned, but we also have to rely on that which is not seen, the spiritual realm around us, many times to guide us, to be able to become aware of the signs that are presenting themselves around us and become comfortable in listening to our inner voice. As I've shared with you before in the other episodes that we've done of A Diamond Moment, we've been taught to be afraid of our inner voice. And that was done so that others would have control over who we are. When we come to a place of enlightenment, when we come to a place where we're able to gather truth, you can't go back to the lie once you know the truth. For those that are biblical scholars, you've heard the expression that you'll know the truth and the truth will make you free. Scripture says that if you put your hand to the plow and then turn back, I'll have no pleasure in you. And a lot of times people will interpret that scripture as meaning that you just have to stay on the course that you're on and never turn. That's not the case, because once truth comes in, you cannot go back to what is untrue. Once truth comes in, your job at that point is to continue moving forward in the truth that you have now been presented, not to go back. It's not to, I've got new information and now I have to run back to how I was because I'm afraid to utilize what I've just learned. In that scripture is speaking about that I'll have no pleasure in you. It's not to go back. It's to continue moving forward. You'll know the truth. That truth will make you free. And then your opportunity at that point is to walk within the freedom that you have been given. So as we're looking at how do we utilize the voice within? How do we get still and quiet enough? We've talked about meditation. Meditation is something that will help you to quiet the outside world, to quiet your thoughts, or at least to be aware of your thoughts, and then to allow them to pass through to receive the guidance and understanding that you've been looking for. As we begin to take these diamond moments, the things that we've learned, the experiences that we've had, and then to set them into a metal of gold, we begin to get the value of the experience learned. It's one thing to have loose diamonds. It's wonderful. You see movies where people will have a little sack, and in that sack they'll empty it out and it'll just be loaded with diamonds. But then you've also seen that same treasure in which it has been set into a precious metal that gives it an entirely different value. We're looking to begin to set the diamonds of our lives into a precious metal in order for them to be displayed in a way that positions us into a place of authority and a place of value within our own lives. If you're a person who's prone to looking on the other guy's plate, of seeing what's wrong with everybody else, of looking at the speck in your brother's eye, I want to invite you to let go of that, to allow yourself to let others grow in the same way that you grew or that you are growing, to have a little bit more mercy and more patience with others who may be experiencing what you experienced in the first part of your journey now. But it took that period of growth for you to get to where you are today so that you can look back and glean the value from these experiences. It goes along with maturity. You're expected at some point in your life to begin displaying maturity. Yes, you've learned it, but maybe someone is just finding that out. So instead of making them feel as though they're behind or they should have been farther than this by now, the reality is, no, they're at this place now because this is the place that they're meant to be. And that in that, many times, your support of them can simply be to rejoice with those who rejoice, okay? To mourn with those who mourn. But to be with them on their journey instead of trying to make them or force them into the mold of your journey. We're all that live in this lifetime, in this span of time, we all have the ability to hear what the Spirit would say. We have been taught to be afraid, as I said once before, and because of that, we're uncertain. So it's time to get certainty. Part of that gold is a concrete setting in which to position your understanding. It's time to get that gold. And the gold says, I do understand. This is where I am, and I will set this piece of knowledge and understanding in this place, and I will build on it. So I want us all, as we were instructed last week, to go back and think about some areas in your life that need shadow work done. To go back and look at areas that have caused you to feel as though you're out of step or is something wrong. The belief system of other people that have come into your life and made you feel less than. It's time to get healed from those things today. Many of us were on the right track in the first place when we first began to research spirituality, understanding that there's something bigger than me. And then we allowed, quote unquote, religion to come in and to stifle our growth. It's time to get back on the track and to be able to trust that voice within, your own inner voice, the voice of God that speaks within you, to connect back with that and to utilize what has taken place in the past that will begin to come up now, that needs to be healed, forgiven, whether it's yourself or others, and to be utilized to set in a firm foundation of gold to bring the value to the diamonds that you have so hard earned. They were difficult to earn. So we're going to continue looking at diamonds and gold. We're going to continue utilizing our Diamond Journey Journal in order to write down and make tangible some of these things that may have come up in an intangible way. You just felt uneasy, you felt anxious, and it's coming from nowhere. All of those are signs and symptoms of areas in your life that are ready to be processed and turned into something of value, to be mounted in a foundation of gold so that you can use it in years to come. If you haven't done so, please subscribe, please share, comment, and like. I need your encouragement. On whatever platform you're listening, I invite you to invite others and to continue coming back. Don't forget to join me on NoomVibe and on FanBase. And please visit my website at www.DrAnitaMc.com. That's DrAnitaMc.com. We're going to continue working with diamonds and gold. You don't want to miss it.